say I'm shooting shots straight to the point, just like the podcast. Other teams, they run into my shooters, cause we got that. I killed the game and left the court with no condolence. I'm still gonna shoot my shot, no matter how big the moment is. She ain't like when Bess get on that phone. Yeah. You watch it from the TVs in your homes. Yeah. They finna like and sub and leave a comment down below. Yeah.
Yo, it's your boy Bess, your boy Rell, and your boy Jerrick, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 4, episode 3. On today's episode, we'll be talking about Joe Burrow's devastating injury. Following that, who's under the most pressure following week 2. Then we'll talk about the Packers and the Chiefs, and of course, give y'all our bets and our picks, all right? But as always, we want to thank God for waking us up this morning, allowing us to talk about sports, which is something that we love to do, and without him, we would not be here right now. Fellas, y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start with the devastating news. Joe Burrow suffers a turf toe against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he will be out for at least 3 months. I'm telling y'all, he's probably out for the rest of the year, all right? So me and the fellas about to react to this news. Rell, what's going through your head? And this is one of Rell's, not a sleeper team, but this is one of the teams he really believed in this year. Let me know how you feel.
Yeah, like you said, just devastated, bro. Because like I said, I thought Joe Burrow had MVP aspirations. We saw the season he had last year, and he didn't have an offseason with T. Higgins. He didn't have an offseason with Jamar Chase, and he didn't know who his running back was going to be last year. This year, he had all his guys getting paid. He had T. Higgins, he had Jamar Chase since day one in training camp, since day one in OTAs. I thought this offense was going to be on point. I thought this was going to be the perfect game for the offense to get back on track and for them to have a big game. And then to see Joe Burrow go down and hear the news about him is just devastating, bro. Like completely devastating. And just prayers up to him. Hopefully he can make a speedy recovery. And but I just think it's over with for the Bengals. Joe Burrow was their best player by a long shot. Jake Browning came in the game and threw 3 INTs. I know they won the game, but Trevor Lawrence basically gave them the game. Jake Browning 3 INTs. I promise you, he will not be enough to get it done for the future. I think Jamar Chase will still have a big year, but just. Man, I know all of the Cincy fans are really devastated right now. This really hurt them.
Facts. Jerrick, how you feeling?
Like Russ said, it's just if you're a Cincinnati fan or anybody that had the Bengals being a good team this year, it's devastating because this really does kill their season. Like Russ said, Jake Browning came in there, he threw 3 interceptions. I mean, like I know for sure, I'm not gonna lie, one of my friends had to tell me that the Bengals won. Because once I saw Joe Burrow got hurt and Jake Browning came in, I know he was throwing them interceptions. I didn't even pay attention to the game again, and I thought they lost. My friend had to tell me that they ended up winning. So, I mean, like Rose said, it's just because of how the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence played. But I think that the Bengals need to go out and get another QB maybe, trade for a vet maybe, just because if they're this team, you start off 2-0, I don't think you're going to just throw it in the towel on this season. I don't feel like you want to, and especially because we hear that Joe Burrow is out for 3 months. So what they said is his timetable to return would be December, mid-December, when you have maybe 3-4 games left, and then maybe he'll be ready for the playoffs. So if you're starting off 2-0, you want to keep this thing rolling because you want him to be able to come back hopefully healthy to make a playoff push, because we know how much better this offense is and the team alone when Joe Burrow is on the field. So this injury is devastating, but I think that the Bengals need to go ahead and go out. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Go trade for a Jameis Winston. It'll be better than Jake Browning. I mean, we see what we know Jameis Winston turning the ball over, but we know what he can do when he has some weapons. Look what he did with Jerry. He had Jerry Jeudy last year looking like a true number 1 receiver and gave him some respect behind his name. So a guy like Jameis Winston with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I think that would be good fit for this team, especially because they are very offense reliant and very throw heavy. I mean, just going out and getting a veteran that can take the place of Jake Browning right now, because I honestly don't think that Jake Browning is the answer for this team. I don't. Like I said, I think the feeling in the organization is we can still make a playoff run if we can get Joe Burrow back. So the steps they take to having this team successful when Joe Burrow does return is going to be crucial to if he does return. Because like you said, if they're playing bad come December, he's just going to sit out and he's going to wait till next year. And then that'll be another year down the drain. Another year where it's like, oh, Joe Burrow's losing years on his career. I mean, this be what the third time that he's not been able to finish the season. So it's one of those things I think the Bengals really need to think about who their quarterback is going to be going forward until December comes around.
This is devastating. It's devastating because my reason is I was very low on this team, right? So I wanted to see a full, healthy Bengals squad throughout the year so that, I get my credibility. Now they have a bad season. It's like, okay, Joe Burrow's hurt. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of my whole take about the Bengals is down the drain because of the Joe Burrow's injury. But we have to understand that this is bigger than just Joe Burrow. This is about the organization. The Bengals organization is trash. Period. This is probably one of the worst organizations in the league. And the reason being is because since 2020, since Joe Burrow stepped on the scene, it's been the same problem every single year, which is the offensive line. Like, they can't fix the offensive line. It's been 5 years, bro. Like, that's with anything in life. If you're doing something for 5 years and can't fix it, like, it's on you. You got to be able to fix that. So the organization, the front office is just bad. Like, listen to these numbers, man. Since 2020, and mind you, since 2020, he's missed, like Jerry said, basically 2 seasons because of injuries. So he's missed games. He hasn't even played the full amount of games in 5 seasons. But since 2020, he's been sacked 230 times. That is the most in the NFL. He's been hit 515 times. That's the third most in the NFL. Since 2020, y'all. Like, that's bad. And then you look at this stat that's very interesting. The most hits taken per game in the last 20 years are these 3 quarterbacks: Andrew Luck, Deshaun Watson, and Joe Burrow. What now with Andrew Luck, he retired because he took a punishment, right?
Yes.
With Deshaun Watson, his career fell apart, but I'm not gonna blame it on him getting hit a lot. Like, I'm not gonna say it's his body gave up on him, nothing like that. I think just that whole situation he went through just ruined his mental and he was done. But this could be another Andrew Luck with Joe Burrow. Not saying he gonna retire, but like, this can be just injury after injury after injury. This injury happened while getting sacked. Like this Bengals front office and this offseason, I was saying, don't give T. Higgins that big bag. Go invest in the defense. Well, you also could invest in the offensive line because you didn't make any crazy accusations. Like, they haven't put any big time offensive lineman on this O-line to help out Joe Burrow. So whether they drafted on linemen, it ain't working. And the little bitty free agents they getting, it's not working. So as an organization, you failed your quarterback. And I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think Joe Burrow should want to come back to this team? Like, I think this is a conversation we got to have. Do you think, and I get it, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I got it. But if you're Joe Burrow, do you want to step back behind this O-line? Because clearly, if it ain't been fixed in 5 years, when is it going to get fixed? So, Rell, if you're Joe Burrow, do you want to return to the Bengals?
Yes, sir. I feel exactly what you're saying. If I'm Joe Burrow, I'm definitely returning to the Bengals just because, like, I think we forget the last time Joe Burrow was fully healthy for a full season, and had a fully healthy team, he went to the Super Bowl. So yes, 100%. I'm hopping right back. Like, the Bengals are that close. Like, they're a Joe Burrow healthy season away from contending. I'm telling you. So yes, if I'm Joe Burrow, even if that O-line is that bad, he's the one who asked to have T. Higgins back. You know what I'm saying? So he knew exactly what he was getting into this season. Now it's just, if the season is over, it's time to start looking towards next season. It's time to start building for O-lineman next season. But yes, I definitely return to the O-line.
Jerrick?
Quite honestly, I don't know, because I'm starting to question, what is Joe Burrow's mentality? What is he? We all know that every franchise QB has pull in the front office. Every franchise QB has a hand in the deals that are made, and they kind of control what goes on around the team. Where does his priorities lie? Like Bro said, you went and asked for them to bring back T. Higgins, but have you asked for them to go get offensive line? Mind you, Joe Burrow, you signed a pretty wealthy contract when you could have honestly taken a little bit of a pay cut and used that money to invest in the defense or the offensive line. So I don't know where his mindset is. And honestly, this goes with any NFL quarterback nowadays. We lived in an era where we had Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning's, Big Ben's, who all took pay cuts so that their team could invest around them. And these were some of the quarterbacks that were the most protected. Some of the quarterbacks that found the most success because they were able to have a team around them because they were taking pay cuts. I don't think any quarterback, and Joe Burrow included, is taking a pay cut nowadays. I don't think any quarterback is honestly telling the team, do what's best for the team and then let me get what's left over. I don't think the mentality is there. So I don't know what Joe Burrow's mentality is. I think he's going to want to return just because he has the opportunity to play with two great pass catchers in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. But I'm honestly starting to question where his priorities, because like you mentioned, the whole Andrew Luck, Deshaun Watson, and him, Andrew Luck played 86 games. Joe Burrow's been sacked way more, and he's played less games than Andrew Luck so far. Like, that's what we don't realize. So if I'm Joe Burrow, honestly, I'm starting to question his priorities in his mind. Where is his mind at? I feel like he needs to speak up and let the front office know, hey, maybe rework my deal, but we have to get this O-line fixed if I want to come back. That's how I would be feeling.
Yeah, I just, like you said, it depends on where his mentality is, right? I'm sure he's devastated. He just can't catch a break, bro. Even the healthy seasons, he's still the highest sack quarterback in the league, like even when he's fully healthy. So at what point will you get sick of that? And like Rell said, he did want T. Higgins. Like he said that, right? So that money could have been invested elsewhere, but you wanted your guy, and the front office did what they're supposed to do. But I still think so. I don't think going into the season, I said that the Bengals will have a new head coach. I think Joe Burrow being out for the rest of the season basically has saved Zach Taylor from getting fired. I don't think he should get fired, but who should get fired is some of these front office people, the GM, somebody in the front office need to get fired. They need to bring somebody in that's going to prioritize what they need, and that is the O-line. We've been having the same conversation for 5 years. So at some point, this conversation got to change. But this organization, to me, is just, it's not a good one if you are putting your franchise QB at jeopardy every single year because you will not fix the offensive line. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Who's under pressure? So after 2 weeks, mind you, it's still early in the season, right? But after 2 weeks, we've seen 2 weeks worth of performances, right? And we're about to tell you what player, coach, or team, right? We get to pick either three, is under the most pressure after 2 weeks. All right, so who's under pressure after 2 weeks, Rell?
Yes, sir. The person under the most pressure is Tua down in Miami. Before the season started last year, he signed a 4-year contract extension worth $212.4 million. That's the second highest paid quarterback in the league, and his numbers just aren't adding up to it. Before the season started, I said the Dolphins were going to have a pretty good season. I said they should win their division because of how explosive this offense was. Last year, they were so bad because of the injuries they had. Tua went down, Tyreek Hill had a broken wrist, and the defense was just filled with injuries. So I assumed that this year was going to be completely different. But through the first 2 games, they just looked terrible. And Tua is the main cause of the reason. His receivers are getting visibly frustrated with him. His coach is getting visibly frustrated with him. And it just is not matching the money that he just signed for. He signed to be one of the highest paid players of all time, and he's just playing terrible. And I feel like Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat. He's almost about to get fired, but they really need to blame Tua. Tua needs to be the one who's out the door, but it's going to be hard with the contract that he just signed and with all the guarantees that he has. And I feel like they're also going to push Tyreek Hill out the door, but I promise you he's not the reason. I promise you he's not the reason they're losing. And then they're scheduled to play the Bills on Thursday. They're going to get smashed. Josh Allen's coming there to kill them. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to be a bad, bad awakening for Miami. 0-3. Good luck.
Gotcha. Jerrick, who's under pressure? What team, coach, or player is under pressure after week 2?
This is a guy who I've advocated for. This is one of my guys, CJ Stroud. He's under the pressure. Really, this Texans team, like, let me just talk about it. Like, their defense is what we hyped it up to be. Mm-hmm. Like, their defense is really, really good. They're very physical. They're very aggressive. Every week, there's plays where I'm like, oh my gosh, like this looks like a old Ravens, like the Ravens Steelers games we used to watch. That's like what it looks like every single week. They're just aggressive, physical with their opponents. They held Tampa Bay to 20 points, and they held the Rams to 14 points. These are two high-powered, explosive offenses. These are two offenses that have talent around the board. They have two quarterbacks, both these teams, that are known for just slinging the ball around, throwing touchdowns, and they held them to 20 and 14 points. That is very, very good. Now, mind y'all, the Texans did give up a game-winning drive touchdown, but overall, you still held them to 20 points. Where the problem lies is with the offense and with C.J. Stroud. Like, C.J. Stroud is my guy, but this is inexcusable. Like, the performances he's putting up, and I know I have some friends that are Texans fans, and they are frustrated with him. Like, they are visibly frustrated with him. They feel like he's doing too much. Like, yes, we know he has a bad O-line. We know that. But there's times where we see him hold on to the ball too long. He won't throw the ball away. He'll try to throw it down the field and make a miraculous effort. Sometimes he's trying to do too much, and it's not necessary. We know that sometimes less is more. Throw the ball out of bounds. Take care of the ball. And it's frustrating, honestly, because we saw him have a great rookie year. And then you come back, you have that little sophomore slump, which is expected. Young QBs are expected to not just jump out the gate and start out great and continue to be great. Like, we haven't really seen that outside of Patrick Mahomes. Even Lamar Jackson's had, ups and downs. But the rookie year that C.J. Stroud had, we thought this guy was going to be creeping into that top 5 conversation by about this time. Last year, he had a down year. We didn't talk about it as much because he's a young QB. But this year alone, C.J. Stroud's first week, no touchdown passes, an interception, and a QBR of 49.6. And they lost the game. And then you come to this week, threw 1 touchdown, no interceptions. So, like Rell said, he doesn't throw back-to-back interceptions. For y'all that know that, he does not throw back-to-back interceptions, back-to-back games with interception. But he had a QBR of 19.5. Yes, a QBR of 19.5. And mind you, if y'all tuned into last episode, we talked about
Bryce.
We talked about Bryce with a bad QBR. Like, this is not looking good, CJ Stroud. It's not. And eyebrows are starting to get raised as to if you are the guy for this team. Because going into this season, we all just knew y'all were going to run y'all division and have it on locks. Right now, the Colts are like a better football team than y'all. And I hate saying that because I'm not a complete believer in the Colts just yet. I think that they're going to fall apart at some point this season. I don't think Daniel Jones will maintain his success. But as of right now, you don't look too good. As of right now, there's people that believe that the Jaguars are better than y'all right now. There's people that'll probably say y'all and the Titans aren't far off, as we've seen the Titans in 2 close games with good teams. So CJ Stroud, you need to lock in and you need to turn it around, because if you turn it around, this team will look so much better. Like I've already said, we know they have a great defense. Their defense is showing it every single week. Holding 2 high-power offense teams to 20 and below, that's very, very good. That's a recipe for success. If the offense was better, this would look like a Super Bowl team. So CJ Stroud, going into week 3, you're 0-2. You're going to play a divisional opponent. You need to lock in. Because if y'all start off 0-3, it's gonna be rough. I don't know how much longer this defense can just keep this fire up under them whenever their offense doesn't have their back. We know as Steelers fans, it's very, very hard for a defense to go out there and just game after game play perfect and try to keep your team in the game. Mm-hmm. So CJ Stroud, you need to wake up and you need to turn the season around.
Facts. I agree with both of y'all. I'm gonna go to one of my squads again. Last week I waved the red flag for the Panthers, and this week I am saying that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are under pressure. All right, now luckily, actually I'm gonna tear you down first before I bring you up. Caleb Williams hasn't looked terrible this year, right? He's looked solid, but he hasn't looked like what we thought he was gonna look like going into this year with a better play caller, right? And we can say, like, I can sit back and say, you know what? I should have gave Ben Johnson a year or 2 to figure it out. It's not as easy just to go to a team and then boom, things happen, right? But because we all had high expectations, we're expecting immediate success. They're 0-2. I don't think nobody thought that through these first 2 games. Actually, you know what? The Lions, yeah, they probably played 1-1, right? But we saw what happened with Minnesota. They basically let that game go. They had control of it through the first 3 quarters, let it go in the 4th quarter. And then the Lions game, it just got spanked. I mean, the Lions is a better team. And that's my fault. Maybe I misjudged this Bears team compared to the Lions team, even though I did pick the Lions to win. But I'm looking at the schedule, And these next 4 games are winnable, guys. Like this is the perfect. And I think they have, if I'm not mistaken, a week 5 bye. They do have a week 5 bye. We always talk about week 5 buys, like, oh my God, we don't want a week 5 bye, right? Because most of the injuries, people start getting nicked up later in the season, and that's when you want your bye week to be. But with the week 5 bye, this might be what Ben Johnson needs to get his team back together. They play the Cowboys this week, right? You can win that game. We just saw Russell Wilson getting a shootout with Dak Prescott. I'm sure you can get this game. And Russell Wilson actually sold that game too, by the way. So you can beat the Cowboys. All right. Then they play the Raiders. We saw how bad Geno Smith looked on Monday night. You can beat the Raiders team. Then you have the bye week. So you can go into the bye 2-2. After that, you play a Commanders team that, for one, Jaden Daniels should be playing by that time. We don't know, though. And then also, I think the Commanders team is a team you can get. Like, they're a team that, as I said, going into the season, the Commanders can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody. I think the Bears can get that game. And then they play the Saints, right? So you can be 4-2. You can win 4 straight games. You can. And I think that would you be in a good spot if you can do that. So this week 5 bye is very important. I'm expecting Caleb Williams to have a really good week this week against the Cowboys and build off that. But there's definitely pressure in Chicago because fans came into the season expecting not a Super Bowl run, but a for sure playoff appearance. Like, they was expecting that. I think all 3 of us expected that. But being 0-2 right now, it don't look too good. But this is a team that also just lost to 2 playoff teams from last year. So I get JJ McCarthy made his first start, but that Vikings team overall was a playoff team last year. This Lions team was a playoff team last year. So I can look at this kind of like the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost to 2 playoff teams too, right? Now I know we got more confidence the Chiefs will turn around versus the Bears, but lost 2 playoff teams to open the season up. Turn around. You got 2 good matchups for your bye. Go into the bye 2-2, and I think they'll be just fine. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's move on to our next topic. The Green Bay Packers, who Rell was very high on going into this. Well, after the Michael Parsons trade, of course, Rell was very high on. The Packers have won their first 2 games pretty comfortably, right? I want to ask you, are they legit? When I say are they legit, I'm talking like Super Bowl legit. Not like, they gonna make the playoffs. They should make the playoffs. But is this team like a legit threat to the Eagles and to any other NFC team that y'all think is really, really good? Rell, let me know.
Yes, sir. I'm telling you for a fact they are. Like, last year in the wild card game against the Eagles, like, it was a close game the whole way. Like, the Eagles pulled away at the very, very end. The Packers were almost there. And Josh Jacobs, he even came on live. He even said, "We're a receiver away." Y'all see how close we were to winning that game. All we need is a receiver. They went out, they drafted Matthew Golden. Then they went out and they drafted who I feel like is probably the best defensive player in the league, and Michael Parsons. He literally turns defenses up. And I told you guys that, yes, the Packers are legit. I'm talking about Super Bowl legit. I'm seeing all different types of videos pop up on my timeline talking about the Packers corners are legit. 25 locking down everybody. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Rashawn Gary is going to have a Pro Bowl season. He's going to have an All-Pro season. I know you guys are seeing that. Like, Michael Parsons draws that much attention. And what makes it so much better is Jordan Love is playing great. He's playing amazing football. He's playing it the right way. And I know Matt LaFleur is drawing up the right plays for him, and he's saying the right things to him. He already has 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He's not turning the ball over. And then we talk about Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs been running that rock. He's been running that rock. Another lock, if you need a prop, I'm telling you, Josh Jacobs, 0.5 rushing touchdowns. He got it the last 7 weeks. And then we're not even talking about the receiving core. Guys, how scary is it? The Packers are 2-0. Their offense is looking great, and they haven't even got Matthew Golden involved yet. Their first round pick, they haven't even got him involved yet. I'm telling you, Matthew Golden he's on the uprise. Jordan Love missed him a couple passes. He could have had 100 yards easily. And to go with that, their defense is top 5 in every statistical category except passing yards. They're just top 10 in that. Moving on to their future schedule, the Packers could easily go 10-0 with their next 8 games. Moving on, they play the Browns this week. That's an easy win. Go ahead, smash the spread for that. Then moving on, they play the Cowboys. Then they also have a week 5 bye, an early bye. I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. But after that, they play the Bengals, then the Cardinals, then the Steelers, then the Panthers. Like, they got a lot of good teams to beat up on before they got to go and play some hard teams. So, yes, I'm telling you, the Packers are legit. And If they can stay healthy, they're going to be so dangerous in the long run. They're going to be dangerous.
All right, so he said they legit. All right, so Jerrick, somebody who wasn't like I think Rell was the highest on him. I was in the middle, and Jerrick was not. Jerrick didn't care about Michael Parsons. He said Michael Parsons is not going to change nothing. He did not care. So Jerrick, let us know. Have you changed your mind? Are the Packers legit?
I most definitely changed my mind. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If we do recall back to the first episode, I didn't have the Packers making the playoffs. Yeah, I know. I did not have the Packers making the playoffs, and that is on me. That is probably going to be my worst take of the whole entire year. I'm not gonna lie, this team is scary. This team is very much so scary, and it's so much so the fact that I don't even think we've seen this defense's full potential yet. Michael Parsons is still on snap counts, y'all. Like, Michael Parsons isn't having a full workload yet. I think he's only playing like majority third downs just because they have trust in their defense enough to make it a pass, to make it a down to where it's a third and long, so that they have to pass rush, so that Michael Parsons can get in there and go get after the quarterback. Like we said, both their games, they've been comfortable. Like, they've been in control the entire game. And these are two teams that were playoff teams last year. This is a team in the Commanders that was in the NFC Championship, and this is a team in the Detroit Lions, who we always know to have a high-powered offense in the past few years. Like Burrow said, like, the big reason why I was not that confident in this team was because of their secondary. I know that a great pass rush can make a mediocre secondary look good, but this secondary doesn't even look mediocre. Like, this secondary looks good with a bunch of no names. I don't know not one person in their secondary. Like I told y'all in the offseason, they had a wide receiver playing corner in training camp. I just knew that their secondary was not going to be good, but I was wrong on that as well. Their defense overall looks very good. And then I will give credit to Jordan Love. Jordan Love's a guy that after last season, I jumped off the train. I wasn't too confident in him. I thought that he just would never be able to get the job done just because of the risky throws we see him make all the time. He makes a lot of careless mistakes in the past, but like Rell said, 2 weeks he's played clean football. When you play clean football with the defense like that, that's a recipe for success. And like Rell said, they are very fortunate that their schedule is literally from here on out, here until I'm going to say till he gets to the Steelers, just because I don't think we're a pushover. I think by that time our defense will have it together, and that by that time we'll be ready to compete with the top team in the league. But until the Steelers and then the Eagles, that's going to be their real test.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, it's free pickings. I mean, like, it's gonna be bad. I'm not gonna lie. Like Burrow said, y'all can lucky take the spread every single week from here on out until the Steelers game. But that Eagles game is really going to determine it, because we've seen the Eagles, their defense has managed to not look as high-powered as it did last year. I will say that. Their defense has kind of taken a step back a little bit, and that is somewhat to say of Jalen Carter's impact. He hasn't had an impact, really, honestly. I've seen his coach say he's out of shape. So I just think that by that time when these two teams meet is when we'll get a fair assessment of if they're legit, because I think by the time the Eagles defense will be a little better, and we'll see if that defense can stop Saquon Barkley in that run game, which is something that Michael Parsons wasn't too good at in Dallas. They used to run the ball to Michael Parsons' side all the time in Dallas. Michael Parsons wasn't a guy that we said in run defense, we're going to fear him, we're going to run to the opposite side, like his counterparts in Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. So that matchup, I'm waiting on that matchup, honestly. If both teams can stay healthy, I'm waiting on that matchup, because that'll tell me all they need to know. But as of right now, I think the Packers are legit, and they are contenders. I'm not going to say they are the favorites as of right now, but I do think that they are contenders, and they are legit.
All right. So you said something about the Eagles defense at the end of that sentence, and I'll don't worry about it. We'll talk about it next segment. Don't worry about it. But the Packers, are they legit? Look, this is probably the second best team in the NFC. But I think the NFC, and I'm saying this with a straight face, is a one-team race. Like, I'm so serious. This Packers team is not scaring me at all. I'm not worried about it, because the best thing that they have is that pass rush with Rashawn Gary and Michael Parsons. The best thing the Eagles have is the offensive line. So I think that in that matchup, It's not going to come down to they all over Jay Hurts. I don't think that's going to happen. But forget about the Eagles right now. This team has made a statement, though, through 2 weeks. They played 2 playoff teams from last year, and they pretty much beat these teams pretty comfortably. Like it wasn't a last second nothing. Like in the fourth quarter, we knew who was going to win these 2 games. And that's pretty impressive, especially for a team that just when they got Micah, they're basically on the scene now. The past couple of years, they've been like an underrated, nice playoff team, but now they're on the scene. So to make these 2 statements against 2 really good teams, I got to give them credit for that. And as you said, Micah is not even playing majority of the snaps right now. But when I say legit, so Jerrick, when you say legit, do you think they are, like, if you had to pick today, you're saying them and the Eagles NFC Championship?
If I had to pick today, through the first 2 weeks, yes.
Okay. And then Rell saying, of course, Super Bowl for the Packers. But yeah, legit to me, I just think it's a 1-team race. So yes, they're good. I think it's them and the Rams right under the Eagles. But I think when it comes down to the Eagles matchup, I'm not really concerned about this Packers team. I think that, you know how y'all said there's nobody in the secondary. I think that, and they have this David McKinney, right? So he's the same. But outside of that, right, there's not really nobody, not really nobody. But in that matchup against the Eagles, if they can't get to Jay Hurts, I think it can be problematic because you got to cover guys like AJ Brown, DeVonta Smith. On top of that, you already worry about the run. Like this Eagles team to me is just better than everybody. So it's no shade to the Packers. I don't think nobody can beat this Eagles team. And of course, they're gonna drop a couple throughout the rest of the year. Of course, I mean they're not going 17-0. Like for crying out loud, nobody's doing that. But I think it's a 1-team race for real. And I do believe that the Packers can get to the NFC Championship. So if it's Packers versus Rams in divisional round, y'all are 100% confident the Packers will get past the Rams if Matthew Stafford's healthy by then.
For surely. Who on the Rams gonna block them?
You got a point. He
For
definitely
sure.
got a point. You for sure got a point. Jerrick, are you 100% confident that they will beat the Rams in divisional round?
I'm not going to say 100% confident, but if I had to pick right now, I would lean toward the Packers just because, like Rell said, the problem has been that Rams offensive line. I mean, we saw when they played the Texans, they struggled a little bit offensively. Like I said, they're a high-powered offense, struggle with the Texans. So I think they would struggle with the Packers as well. So as of right now, I would lean towards the Packers.
Hey, and Bess, I also want to say Jordan Love is good enough to go shot for shot with anybody in the NFC. I also want to say that. And he also has a pretty good play caller in his ear, too.
You're right. He has a great play caller. You're right. He was so
This
right.
guy played with Aaron Rodgers for a little bit, too, So I just want to say that.
You're right. That's probably what's going to come down to, though, is can Jordan Love, like the year before last, he had a pretty good playoff run. They lost in the second round, but he played really well. Last year, that first game was sloppy on his part, right? But y'all said it was the receiver's fault, so they would have got Matthew Golden. So we're going to see if Jordan Love is that guy this year. The opportunity is there. I think now the Lions, they did what they did to the Bears. So I'm not saying the Lions are back yet. I'm not ready to say that yet. But I think it's really 3 teams in the NFC that's competing for that trophy. I think it's a one-man race, but if you had to pick, I think there's 3 teams that are legit in the NFC, and that is the Rams, Packers, and the Philadelphia Eagles. But speaking of the Eagles, let's move on to the next segment. Oh, man, last week I told Jerrick we got to have a conversation if Jay Hurts wins 3 straight games against Patrick Mahomes. And Jerrick told me there will be no conversation because he won't become the first quarterback to ever win 3 straight against Patrick Mahomes. But I'm gonna get to that a little later. But right now, the Chiefs are 0-2, right? They lost to the Chargers, lost to the Eagles. This has not happened with Mahomes. This hasn't. It doesn't happen with Mahomes, right? So, Rell, is it time to panic in Kansas City?
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, and we all know the answer to this question. Heck no. But it was a very interesting topic that you brought up. Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback to beat Mahomes 3 straight times. That was crazy. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. Shout out to his team, because like we always say on the segment, he has a really good team behind him. But heck no, it's not time to panic. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, Andy Reid. Heck no, it's not time to panic. I'll say this: the Chiefs, they haven't been good enough to win, but they haven't looked bad. Like the Chargers last week, it took Justin Herbert having an amazing game to beat the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes played amazing. Then moving on to this week, the Eagles had to play perfect to win this game. Like they had to basically control the whole entire game to win this game. I think if the Chiefs didn't turn the ball over, I think they win this game for surely. For sure win this game. And I saw live. I saw live the Eagles literally jump off sides multiple times on a tush push. And these are tush push that goes on and leads on to the Eagles making field goals. So like the game came down to 3 points. Like they're jumping multiple times, and I just feel like the game has to be called both ways. And heck, no, I think worst case scenario, if my Super Bowl pick doesn't go right, this will be the Super Bowl that we just seen. So 20-17, heck no, it's not time to panic. The Chiefs, for all we know, might go win 13 straight games and then be first seed in the division. First seed in the AFC. So, nah.
All right, Jerrick, this your squad. These your boys. It's time to panic in KC.
All right. No, like Rell said, heck no. Okay, and I was wishing Rell used the word other than heck, but no, it's not time to panic. And I'll put this out here as well. This is the first time in Mahomes' career, dating back to this is the first time since college that Mahomes has lost 3 straight games, including postseason. So the Super Bowl loss, the loss week 1 to the Chargers, and now the loss week 2 to the Eagles. But no, it's not time to panic. And if anybody's saying it's time to panic, the joke's on you. Because they are so ready to write off Mahomes and move on from the Chiefs. And they're so ready to think that the Bills or the Ravens is going to take it this year. But no, that's not going to happen. Like Rell just said, we just saw a very good football game be played, 20-17. He's missing 2 of his best weapons. I think we've yet to realize that. Rashee Rice is looking at this team right now, and he's saying, you know what, y'all? That's on me. I got to make better personal life decisions. I got to be a better man at the end of the day. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to turn this squad up. I'm going to come back and I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to come back. I'm going to be the number 1 option for my quarterback because of the fact that these past 2 games, it's been a little bit of a struggle for Mahomes getting the ball to his receivers. We know how fast and how good Xavier Worthy is. We know how good it comes down to Andy Reid using him. He'll line up in the slot. He'll line up outside. He'll line up in the backfield, motioning with Xavier Worthy. Like he's just a complete weapon. And we know how explosive Rashee Rice is. We saw it in his rookie season. We saw what he did. He took the NFL by storm. Him and Mahomes' connection, it was great. The fact that right now Mahomes is playing good football with Travis Kelce being his number 1 option, that's all I need to know. Because people are joking and clowning on Travis Kelce. Oh, it's time to hang it up. He's washed. Wait till week 8 whenever Rashee Rice is back and Xavier Worthy's back, and now he's the number 3 option. Y'all know how scary that is that now Travis Kelce doesn't have to be the main guy? He's still out here playing good football without being the number 1 guy. But let's put that into perspective. Mahomes will have a plethora of weapons, and it'll also help the run game out because, mind you, they've struggled to run the ball in the past 2 weeks, but they've also played really good defenses when it comes to containing the run. We saw what the Chargers just did to Ashton Genty. Yes, Ashton Genty's O-line is not good, but we still think that Ashton Genty, when going against an average or below average defensive line, that's when he's going to have his first breakout game. So he played a pretty good Chargers team when it comes to the run defense. He played the Eagles team, who we know has a great front. So the fact that they've been struggling to run the ball, when Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy come back, they'll be able to run the ball a lot better. And then we talked about the Chiefs defense week 1. Week 2, they just proved it. That defense played a pretty good game. Like Steve Spagnuolo stepped it up, and he called a pretty good game. That's what I expect out of this defense. So, no, it's not time to panic. The Chiefs are 0-2. So what? So what? It didn't rain today. So what? It doesn't matter, okay? I'm trying to tell y'all, there's nothing to worry about. They're going to get hot, and when they get hot is when they're going to get Xavier Worthy back, and then they're going to keep going, and they're going to get Rashee Rice back, and then come playoff time, teams will have to go to Kansas City. They'll have to go to Chiefs Kingdom, and it's going to be the same story. So, no, it's not time to panic at all. I like what I'm seeing out of this Chiefs team. The fact that they're playing good football while struggling is all I need to know. They played 2 good teams so far. They're about to go and beat up on a pretty bad team this week. It's not time to panic at all. I love to see it. I love it. I love to see it.
All right, so make it short and sweet, right? It's not time to panic. I really want to see what Jerrick was gonna say because Jerrick was so high on his team going into the season and saying they was not gonna lose last week and this, that, and another. So I really want to see what he was gonna say. But he hit the nail on the head. Like, I'm not finna sit here and bank against Mahomes or Andy Reid to fix this. Like y'all said, Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice is coming back. That opens everything up. Xavier Worthy is a crazy deep threat that you have to fear. Rashee Rice does it all. And then you got Travis Kelce that's still around. I mean, if he's not running into people and dropping passes, he's pretty good. But he's been doing that the first 2 weeks. But like you said, the run game will open up as well. The defense didn't look bad. I mean, yeah, like people that are banking against them, I really want to know what the odds are right now for them to win the division. I really want to know because I really don't see them losing this division. Even though the Chargers have a nice 2-0 lead, the Chargers did beat the Chiefs. I still think the Chiefs can win this division. So I might have to hit Vegas up and see what the odds are for them to win the division. Cause I still think it's very doable. But Jerrick, what?
Tell me the odds for him to win the conference. Tell me the odds for him to go to the Super Bowl. That's all I want to know.
I might have to peep that for real. I might have to peep it. But Jerry, I said we're gonna have a conversation. And we're gonna have this conversation. Now, Hurts didn't have a great game. He didn't have I don't think he really had a good game. Right?
At all.
Okay, chill out. But at the end of the day, he did get the W. So I wish it was a big, not a big Hurts game, but like a pretty good Hurts game. Then I would have felt more comfortable about saying this. But I feel like there is a mental advantage that Jay Hurts and the Eagles have over this Chiefs team, and that is nobody else can say that they have that. So now that Jay Hurts has beat this guy 3 times straight, not even playing his best ball in one of the games, is there a conversation we can have about who the guy is today? Who the guy is? Is there a conversation that we can have? I'm just asking. I'm not saying I'm not saying the answer to it, but no.
Not. We could have had the conversation had Jalen Hurts had a monster game, but he didn't. The fact of the matter is he low-key struggled. That's what I saw him struggle against Spagnuolo defense that I don't think is one of the best defenses he's had in recent years. I saw him struggle. I honestly did. He had a 42.6 QBR. It's not that good. He didn't throw a passing touchdown. It's not that good. I don't think he threw a passing touchdown last week.
He didn't.
That's not that good. He has rushing touchdowns. That's it. And mind you, his rushing touchdown this week came off of a touch push where we saw a false start by 2 of his guards. That's all I got to say. I don't think there's no conversation to be had at all. We know. We know. Come on now. Let's be real. After that game, I'm surprised you even asked the question. Let's be real. Let's be real. And you say a mental advantage over the Chiefs. I don't even think the Chiefs fear Jalen Hurts, if I'm being quite honest. I don't think they fear him, honestly. I really don't. We saw it at the end of the game, the little smack talk Chris Jones about the fact you barely had 100 yards.
And we won. So what's your point? What's your point? So I know you're not going down this road, but the road that the NFL media and the public has gone down is I need you to have these big games when you win for me to credit you. That's the crazy part. Jay Hurts did not have a big game, but I'm telling you right now, when I was watching that game, I was comfortable the entire time. There's a comfort that Jay Hurts brings to Eagles fans, I'm sure, that every game they feel like they're about to win. I have no problem because for one, Jay Hurts don't turn the ball over.
He doesn't.
For one, he doesn't put the ball in harm's way. Like I think a part of the reason why he's not throwing the ball so well right now is because he's not taking unnecessary risks. He's not doing it. He just wants to win. And the crazy part is, we kind of said this going into this year. Like, is Jay Hurts going to listen to the media? Is he going to listen to everybody saying he's not top 5 because of his numbers? Is he going to go out here and air the ball out and put up an MVP kind of season? He don't care, guys. He really don't care. He told Chris Jones to his face. Chris Jones said he barely had 100 yards. We won. That's what matters. And then that's what matters. Why have we changed what really matters? What really matters is winning. You can be a great talent, but if you don't win, we don't care about you. Michael Vick was a great talent. Do we ever talk about him when we talk about the best quarterbacks ever or the greatest quarterbacks ever? No, because he ain't win nothing. Aaron Rodgers, for what it's worth, he has the MVPs, but the reason why we can't put him in these crazy conversations is because he doesn't have the rings to back it. He has 1 ring. I mean, it's not for him. That's very low for his standards. So, like, I'm not understanding, and Rell, help me understand why does he have to go out here and put up 300 passing yards and 3 touchdowns to get credit? Why can't he just get the job done? Because the name of the game is winning. Ever since I was in Little League, the name of the game is to win. Who cares about stats? If you win the game, you win the game. So, Rell, help me understand, why do people need to see him put up crazy numbers to validate him as to being one of the best in the league?
Like you just said earlier, it's a mental battle. Like they're beating them mentally. Jalen Hurts sees that they could beat him in a whole bunch of different ways. They could beat him on special teams. They could beat him on defense. They could beat him running the ball. They could beat him a lot of ways. And fans don't like that. And fans are tired of the Eagles winning. So they have to find some way to criticize him. I tell you all the time, if you don't got no haters, you ain't popping for real. And the Eagles got a whole bunch of haters, So to help you understand it, I think people were just tired of seeing the Eagles win, and it's just nothing more to that. Because if Tom Brady was doing it, Tom Brady had multiple Super Bowl wins where he threw 5-yard dig routes, run the ball to Stevenson. Like, he didn't have nothing too crazy, and nobody criticized him. They said, oh, it was a great game plan by Belichick. Why isn't anybody giving the Eagles coach any credit? So I feel you exactly. I feel you 100%. And we never really heard Chris Jones say anything like that before. So I think it really tells you, like, oh, these guys beat us 3 times. I'm pissed. And he beat us with him only having 100 yards. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. But not only that, I think maybe as well, like Burrow said, it is because when you win, you have haters, of course. We know that everybody around the Chiefs, they need the referees' help to win. We know even with Brady back in the day, they used to hate on him and talk about the deflate gate and things of that nature. But I also think that it's also because we live in a time of high superstar QBs, the Joe Burrows, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, even the Mahomes some weeks, where they have great games in big time games. This time he didn't have a great game in a big time game. So the media was going to talk about that, especially because they don't think Jalen Hurts is a great QB. They think he's a great game manager. So the fact that we live in an era where we have great QB talents like we've never seen before, putting up stats like we've never seen before on a weekly basis, it's just like, oh, Jalen Hurts, when are we going to get that from you? So I think that's what it is.
Just know. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not fair. That's all I have to say. It's not fair, but that's it.
Just know that if we don't count the Commanders' loss last year when Jalen Hurts got hurt in like the first quarter, if we don't count that, then this will be 19 straight wins for the Eagles in a 2-year span. Yeah, 19 straight. I don't think a lot of teams say that, but it's cool. Don't worry about it. He just gonna dink and dunk his way to the Super Bowl. That's always gonna happen. That's just the way it's gonna be.
All right. Leave a comment down below. Yo.